Assalamu alaikum students. Today's lecture is about the types of cement and the different tests that are performed on the cement. But before going through this lecture, I want to summarize the previous lecture we studied. Lecture number 2 of concrete technology was also about cement. In that lecture, we discussed the manufacture of the cement, the raw materials needed for the manufacture of cement, and the whole process of the manufacture. We also discussed the chemical composition of cement before and after hydration. We discussed that the main raw materials or the main ingredients needed for the manufacture of the cement were lime, silica, alumina, and iron. In addition to that, there are other minerals also needed, but these are the main ingredients that we will study. These raw materials or these main ingredients are obtained from different types of stones like calcium carbonate, clay, etc. These raw materials are crushed together and then transported and shifted to rotary kiln, which in this kiln they are heated at temperature of about 1450 degrees centigrade. This high temperature changes the chemical composition of ingredients and they fuse together to form new chemical compounds. Some of the chemical compounds that are produced are tricalcium silicate, dicalcium silicate, tricalcium aluminate, and tetracalcium aluminoferrate. In addition to these compounds that are produced in the form of clinker, which are later powdered together, and another ingredient is added as well after, which is called gypsum, which must be present from 2 to 3% or 3 to 5%. These are the main ingredients or the main chemical compounds produced in the cement bag that is being purchased from a store. Tricalcium silicate is responsible for the early strength of cement. Dicalcium silicate is responsible for the later strength of cement that starts after 7 days. The presence of tricalcium aluminate is undesirable in concrete because in underground structures or structures in which the surface is exposed to sulfate, this chemical can react with sulfate and produce certain chemical compounds that can cause disintegration of concrete. The presence of tetracalcium aluminoferrate can reduce the clinkering temperature in a rotary kiln. These are the chemical compounds before the hydration takes place. Once water is added to cement, the chemical composition of cement again changes due to the process of hydration and new chemical compounds are produced. Upon reaction with water, the main chemical compounds present in cement like tricalcium silicate and dicalcium silicate react with water to produce calcium silicate hydrate gel and calcium hydroxide. Tricalcium aluminate produces a large amount of heat upon reaction with water, and upon reaction with water it can also cause flash setting of cement. This flash setting of cement in the beginning of hydration is undesirable. Therefore, we must retard the solubility of tricalcium aluminate in water in the beginning of the lecture, in the beginning of the hydration. For this purpose, gypsum is added in cement to prevent flash setting of tricalcium aluminate. Gypsum prevents the solubility of aluminates in water for certain time. Gypsum reacts with water to produce a certain chemical compound known as ettringite, which can prevent the setting of cement. After some time, the depletion of ettringite takes place because the aluminate ions in water increase. After that, the ettringite compounds become unstable and the tricalcium aluminate starts hydrating, and that is when the setting of cement takes place. Calcium silicate hydrate gel is the main compound after hydration because it is the only compound that is responsible for the strength of concrete. Whenever we study the strength of concrete due to hydration, it will be because of the presence of calcium silicate hydrate gel. Calcium hydroxide again is an undesirable compound, and the presence of tricalcium aluminate and calcium hydroxide in water makes concrete weak in terms of sulfate resistance. Therefore, it is required that if a structure of concrete is to be built underground where the soil contains sulfate ions, or marine structures where sulfate ions are present, these chemicals like tricalcium silicate and calcium hydroxide should be minimized in their content. Now we will come back to our lecture number 3, which is the main lecture in which we will discuss the types of cement. It was important to summarize the previous lecture because the types of cement depend upon the chemical composition which is required for the manufacture of cement. In this lecture, we will discuss the tests that are to be performed on cement and the different types of cements. When we talk about cement, there are 5 different properties of cement that need to be discussed. The first one is fineness. There is consistency of cement, there is setting time of cement, there is soundness, and there is strength. There are different tests performed on cement to determine these properties. The first test or the first property of cement is the fineness. By fineness, we mean the degree of grinding that takes place, or the fineness of the powder of the cement that we use. Fineness of cement is usually measured in terms of specific surface, because fineness of a cement can increase its surface area. The total surface area of all particles in 1 gram of cement that can be expressed in centimeter square per gram and meter square per gram. You will observe that the finer the cement is, or the greater the grinding of cement particles, will increase its surface area, and increased surface area means that more surface is exposed for reaction with water. Therefore, if a cement is finer, the hydration of process can be speeded up and the rate of hydration can also be increased, which is desirable in certain scenarios. The fineness of cement has an important bearing on the rate of hydration, rate of gain strength, and evolution of heat.